So welcome everybody. Tēnā koutou katoa. Greetings to you all from Aotearoa, Waitaha, Christchurch, Canterbury, here in Aotearoa, New Zealand. If this is the very first time you have joined us, I am Sarita McLean, the Regional Rotary Public Image Coordinator, and it is honestly so lovely to see you all here today. We're joining together today from across Australia, New Zealand, and the Pacific Islands, and on behalf of all of us, I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which each of us meet, live, learn, and work. I acknowledge and honor Indigenous cultures, traditions, country, iwi, and nation, and pay my respects as appropriate to elders and leaders, kaumatua and kuia, past, present, and emerging. So today's session, Articles that Work, is presented by past District Governor Daryl Essipi. And Daryl is the Assistant Rotary Public Image Coordinator for Districts 9560 and 9620, Northern Australia, Timor-Leste, Queensland, Solomon Islands, Papua New Guinea, and Nauru. So Daryl has been a Rotarian for over 30 years, and a career change a couple of years ago has seen him take a more active role in his cosmetics and beauty products company, Pure Jolly. I will pass you over to Daryl very soon, but a little note about housekeeping. If you can please put your district number on your profile, that will be fantastic. And also mute yourselves. That will be really appreciated. If you have any questions, pop them at the chat box at the bottom of your screen. We will have some time at the end for questions, and I'm sure Daryl is going to take questions throughout his session as well. And I will send you a recording to all of you, to everyone who is registered. So, right, over to you, Daryl.
Thank you, Sarita. So Sarita's given the introduction, so I won't repeat that. And I'll just share my screen. So can everyone see that screen? Yep, okay. So articles that work. So first up, given the situation of everything that's happening around the world, I just thought that we should do a little bit of our thoughts about from Rotary International in relation to the situation in Ukraine. And coming from Rotary International, I'm just going to repeat what they have issued. It is a tragic and sad time for the people of Ukraine and the world. At Rotary, we are deeply concerned by the deteriorating situation in Ukraine and the escalating loss of life and humanitarian hardship there. Continued military action against Ukraine will not only devastate the region, but also risk spreading tragic consequences around Europe and the world. As one of the world's largest humanitarian organisations, we have made peace the cornerstone of our global mission. We join the international community in calling for an immediate ceasefire, withdrawal of Russian forces, and restoration of diplomatic efforts to resolve this conflict through dialogue. Rotary clubs in Ukraine, Russia, and nearby countries transcend national differences and have actively engaged in peace-building projects to promote goodwill and to marshal assistance for the victims of war and violence. Today, our thoughts are with our fellow Rotary members and others in Ukraine coping with these tragic events. Rotary International will do everything in its power to bring aid, support, peace to the region. And I just thought we would start with that because that's a story that we can actually continue to spread throughout our Rotary world and to those outside of Rotary about where Rotary sits in relation to peace efforts. Our thoughts are also with those in Southeast Queensland and Northern New South Wales that are going through the tragic floods at this point in time.
For over 100 years, Rotary members have taken action when challenges arise. We know what people can do when they come together and put others before themselves.
Team lead said they will continue the campaign to fight against the coronavirus.
Local Rotary clubs deliver food and supplies to people in need.
Strangers become friends, helping hands multiply, and problems turn into solutions. We are Rotary. We are people of action.
We're just having a problem with the video there, so I'll just move on to the next slide. So to start on articles that work, to ensure that you have an article that works, there are several things you need to do. Firstly, you need to have knowledge and a plan of what it is you want to achieve. Secondly, you need to recognize who your audience is and what do they want to hear. And thirdly, is where is your article going to be heard or seen? Note that when we refer to this, an article is anything that is written, spoken, or acted with. Knowledge and plan of what you want to achieve. Do you want to get your members excited? Do you want to come, for example, do you want them to come and bring others to a Jazz for Jabs afternoon for raising money for COVID vaccinations in Papua New Guinea? Is it for informing members, as in telling them where this money is being raised and what it is being used for? Is it to encourage members to stay in Rotary? This is what Rotary is achieving through its End Polio campaign and keeping us informed that we are this close, that we want them to stay in Rotary to be part of this total journey and to see the end come to fruition so that we end polio. Is it to get Rotarians in general excited? Can you please help our fellow Rotarians in raising awareness of the COVID jabs necessity in PNG? Or is it for informing other Rotarians? This is the COVID situation in Papua New Guinea. Or to encourage other Rotarians to contribute. Can they help with funds, their workforce, or their expertise? Is it to engage members by ensuring members want to continue providing their funds, their labour, or their expertise? Or is it for informing the public? For example, that polio still exists and Rotary is fighting the battle. If you don't know what you're trying to achieve in this, then you don't know what you need to write. So you need to address that, what your knowledge is and the plan of what you want to achieve. And remember, when we're talking about the public, we want to engage them in your activity. If we look at in far north Queensland, they have their farm field days. So they want people to come along and attend that, come and support it. So what does that mean? It means raising the awareness of the public to Rotary. And on this event that takes place every 2 years, it's $60,000 worth of fundraising to those local Rotary clubs. Do we want to activate the public to participate? In other words, come along and support the End Polio movie with attendance, or if you can't attend, support it with a donation. Or is it to encourage the public to engage to become members? Engagement is the key, hopefully leading to the marriage of the person to Rotary Club membership, and hence to be part of Rotary International. These are all different things that require a different approach. And the public, which subset of the public are you trying to get to? We know about diversity, equity rather than, I've got a typo there, and inclusion. Do we address that in our articles, or do we believe it is all one audience? No article can address everyone effectively. So you need to pick and choose what it is that you're going to address to make sure that your article works. The second question I raised is, who is your audience and what do they want to hear? You need to ask yourself this question every time you go to publish. Writing the story you want to tell will never reach the audience if it is not within the realms of what they want to hear. Particularly important if you're dealing with social media, because the algorithms in social media will determine that if you want to hear this story, you get more of it. And if you don't want to hear of it, you will never see it. It is for this reason that Rotary International asks you to write about the people of action and not choose the big check presentation photos. The check photos are interesting for those that give, like Rotary, and those that receive the check. But they have very little interest to anyone else. In showing these photos, it's great advertising for those receiving, but very poor marketing for those that are giving. Because all you're doing is encourage other people to come and ask, rather than come and be part of the solution to achieve whatever it is that your club is trying to achieve. Develop your news hook. Develop a persuasive reason for the audience to hear your story, something that they want to hear, and then you add in your hook. So we include the 5 W's in the opening paragraph of your article. Who, what, where, when, and why. If they're not in your opening paragraph, then you haven't got an audience that's listening to you. Where is your article going to be heard? We have the local papers and publications, your local village news, your state newspapers like the Courier Mail or the Herald. We have the national newspapers like the Financial Review or the Australian. I'm sorry, this is Australia-centric rather than Kiwi-centric. We have TV, radio, and social media. So with TV, you've got your news channels. With radio, you've got your local, your community, your other radio stations, and your national stations. And in your social media, you've got Facebook, you've got Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, to name just a few. Each of these requires a different approach. And when you looked at your LinkedIn, is it your personal page or your club page? Rotary International has their own page. They also have their own Twitter feed. With Facebook, is it your page where you're sending out the information? Your club's page where you're sending out the information? Your club group where you're doing an internal document to your members? Or a community page that you're posting to reach a wider audience? Each of these requires a different hook, a different 5 W's. You need to look at what you're doing there to make sure that your article works. And the area that we don't do enough of, that none of us do enough of, is the Rotary Publications. And yes, in the Rotary Publications, generally, we're preaching to those that know something. But when we're writing an article and we want to achieve something, then these are publications that can help make that work. Rotary on the Move, a monthly email that comes out on the 15th of each month with stories from all over our zone. Rotary Down Under, our own zone publication. The Rotary Magazine, previously known as the Rotarian, reaching a wider audience across all of the Rotary world. There's the My Rotary website, where you can put in articles there to actually reach a much bigger audience and letting them know what projects you have going. There's also your own club websites and the Zone 8 website. And the Zone 8 website is Rotary Zone 8 It's an area where, from the public image group, the foundation, and the membership teams under the leadership of Sarita, Peter, and from the 1st of July, Stephen, replacing Adrian, we'll be putting more and more articles there to let you know what help we can give. But just when you're doing these things, if I can give an example, the Jazz for Jabs for raising money for Papua New Guinea. Small article. Put it out bigger to the Rotary world in Australia. And all of a sudden another club picks it up and donates $8,000. And another club, another $20,000. Put it on my Rotary as a project. And all of a sudden the money that you can raise for that project is multiplied, so that you can actually achieve a much larger result by making sure that you produce your public relations and public image for your project, for your club, and making sure that you do it by articles that work. This is an area of contention, the Rotary themes. And I bring it in because when we're doing articles, we need to make sure that we actually do our branding correct. The RI President's theme, Serve to Change Lives, or next year, Imagine Rotary, are only for Rotary's internal use and should not be displayed on our external media documents. It only confuses the public. Our Rotary theme, Service Above the Self, our media theme of People of Action, and the Rotary Foundation motto of Doing Good in the World are for both internal and external use. And of course, we should not confuse the medium public with internal messaging, particularly when they change every year. When we do that, we lose the value of the article and we decrease its ability to work. We have to use the correct logo, the correct branding, because that is what helps the better recognition of all of our articles and all of our work. Our branding should always use the Rotary logo. When we do an article, somewhere with a photo attached to it, there should be in that photo the Rotary brand. Whether that's on a club shirt, a club banner, or just something that's happening there, showing the people that this is Rotary and not just a photo of things happening, but a photo with the Rotary logo. We do that, we achieve so much more with that article. The Rotary brand that we have now has been with us since 2013. So we must be consistent in our use of our branding. There is no excuse for the incorrect logo. It's been here for now 9 years. And there's power in the unity of Rotary by making sure that we tell the one story using the one brand. People say, why did the brand change? Here is the different brands of McDonald's and how it has changed over the years and consistently changed. Would you recognize someone showing the 1940 brand or even the 1953 brand? No, you wouldn't, which is why we have to use the current brand in Rotary. And other not-for-profits. Every one of the not-for-profits shown on this page here have changed their logos over time. So we are not alone in that. But if we want our articles to work, we need to make sure that we are showing Rotary as one, as one being, one group, one brand.
One voice, every club. A game that tests whether you can identify the correct Rotary logo. All right, welcome to One Voice, Every Club. May the best team win. All right, let's get started. Question 1. Which item uses the correct logo? The banner. Try again.
The mug.
I'm sorry, the correct answer is the website. Now, this club used the logo properly by including their club name with the master brand signature. We don't use that old Rotary wheel anymore, and the Rotary logo is never used as an object, like a bike wheel. All right, next question. Does this poster use the club logo correctly?
Yes, it's correctly branded.
No, I'm sorry, the branding is incorrect. Let's try it again.
Yes, it's correctly branded.
Right, well done. Look how professional that poster is. You can tell that logo was created in our brand center. It uses the club name and Rotary logo in the proper font and color. A quick tip for all of you watching at home, always use your club logo consistently. It builds local awareness and global recognition. All right, we're almost out of time. Final question. Why is this the correct Rotary Club logo?
Because it uses the club stamp with the Rotary logo.
Right, congratulations. You're the new champion of One Voice, Every Club. That's all the time we have today. I'm your host, reminding you to retire those old Rotary wheels in your branding. And when Rotary clubs use a uniform logo, everybody wins. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget to visit rotary.org/brand center to create your club logo.
So, as I said before, the Zone 8 website has a lot of reference material that we're adding to constantly. On that website, there's a Rotary storytelling guideline on how to actually communicate. There's one on telling your story, 5 questions to answer. What, who, how, what, and what. It comes back to the 5 W's, what, who, when, where, and why. How to promote your club's project. And about knowing your local media. So before sending a story to a journalist, get to know your audience, read your local newspaper, listen to the evening news, follow Facebook and Twitter to identify where the Rotary story might fit in. The rest of it is, all of this is on the Zone 8 website. I'm not going to read it to you. You can go there and look at it. And of course, you'll get a copy of this recording sometime in the next week or two. So remember, when you write a press release, you want it so journalists want to read it. Not just the journalists, but the journalists are there to actually make sure that it actually gets written. But when you write the article, make sure it's one that the audience wants to read. So develop your news hook, include the 5 W's, keep it concise, decide who will respond to the media, and include visuals when you send it to TV stations. There are many ways to promote Rotary. Advertising on cable networks, public access TV, public service arrangements, billboards, club brochures, as well as all the items that we spoke about earlier. So what to do next? Come back to, and I'll just go, sorry. bear with me, come back to have the knowledge and plan of what it is that you want to achieve. Know who your audience is and what do they want to hear. And work out where is your article going to be seen or heard. These are the basics of making sure that you've got an article that works. There's no sense writing the same article for your members as it is for the public. There's no sense writing an article to inform the public about something if what you actually want to do is engage the public to become members. They are different articles. They are written differently. They need to achieve a different audience. So know what you're trying to actually plan and trying to achieve. Look at who your audience is, and then where are you going to send it? So I'm now going to try to stop sharing. There we go. And come back and open up for any questions.
It's all pretty straightforward, Darren. I think I've been doing some little courses on the in the Rotary Zone 8, I think, or
Yep.
I've been looking anyway. I've been looking in lots of places on the Rotary website there, and so all what you're saying is what I've been learning, which is good. Just got to put it into practice now.
Yes, it's it just comes back to, you know, if I'll give you an example, if you're doing a polio movie night, you know, you can do one article that goes out to your local, all your members of your club and other Rotary clubs nearby. But if you want to get the public to come along to that movie as well, you've got to write that differently. And it's no sense putting it on your Rotary Club Facebook page if you want to get the public involved. You need to go to your local news publications, you know, or newspapers, or alternatively a local community page. And that means writing the story about the polio story rather than achieve it, so you can actually achieve that people want to come along.
Yeah, I understand that. That's very interesting. Thank you.
Any other questions or things to share, perhaps?
Sue?
Yeah, I've been trying to find, since the latest upgrade with the RI website and the brand centre, I can't seem to find for the people of action these the guidelines.
Can I pass that across to you, Sarita?
They have some new guidelines, and I will be sharing that very, very soon. Oops. Linda,
yes,
please mute yourself. I can hear some background noise.
okay, hold on.
Thank you. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, Linda. So yes, there's some changes to the Brain Center, which has come about lately. You just have to go at the moment, go to the Brain Center. They've made it into a website. So they've removed the voice and visual guidelines, which were those PDF documents, which were really, really easy to understand. So their logic is that if there's a website, it's much easier to update. So what we will do at some stage, the public image team, is we'll put together the guidelines, because those colors are really, really important. For you to know what colors you're using, what those those codes are. But in terms of creating your club logo, it's so much more easier now to.
Yeah, I've been through all that, but I have a bit of an issue at times with some of my members in how we actually use the People of Action logo.
Well, it's our next session, end of March. Roslyn Tierney is going to talk tell us all about how to get started with this People of Action campaign, where to find that information, how to actually get started. So that's end of March.
Okay.
I guess you'll need some information well before then. So I'll share some stuff in when I send you out this recording.
Thank you.
Point the links through. Yeah.
Thank you.
For those of you that don't know, at the end, generally speaking, on the last Sunday of each month, one of the members of Sarita's team is actually running one of these sessions on a particular topic. They're all recorded, so you can go back and get any one of them and hear them. But it's and we're also very interested to hear if there's a particular topic that you want to actually have us discuss instead. Carol.
Where are they stored, please, Daryl? Where would we find the list of the recordings?
The recordings I tend to share straight. I put them in my Dropbox and I just share for each one individually, those who have registered. At the moment, if you need them to be stored on the Rotary Zone 8 website, I can talk with the webmaster to see whether we can have that space in there for all of these recordings to be stored. So I just need to have that conversation with him. But at the moment, it's very, it just gets sent to you. I send you the link for each session.
It could be a really good idea, Sarita, because if we want to share things with club members,
Yes.
to know where to find what we've experienced, because that's what we want to share, would be really, really useful, I think.
Yeah, so let me just speak with Phil and see what we can do to put some of these resources there, because it'll be great to be able to share Daryl's presentation as well.
Barry.
Yeah, I just maybe place some importance on journalists nowadays. We used to always search them out for membership to be in our clubs. But we're finding now a lot of clubs are taking on digital marketing experts to use for their social media, because they're hitting so many positives with the results they're getting. So a digital marketing experts are probably the way to go. Journalists are great for writing the stories, but you're not necessarily the newspaper journalists just don't hit the numbers that we need nowadays. So we're finding that, by looking out for a digital marketing people, they can really promote your club or your district on a more professional level as well.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Barry.
Thanks, Barry. Pete.
Thanks for that, Daryl. I'd like to echo what Barry was just saying. I logged in this morning hoping to find some hints, suggestions and guidelines about using digital media. While I do appreciate the focus on the 5 W's, on making sure we understand why we're writing stuff, very little, very small numbers of people seem to recall anything that they see in the print media. We've found that using the print media is not good use of time or money. Serena, would we be looking for a similar session like this that dealt more in the digital media?
Oh, yes. Yeah, definitely. If there's a need, yes, we will try and meet that need. Most definitely, Pete.
Yeah, I can talk a bit more about that too, Pete, if you like, right now, in that from the printed media, those clubs that have a local publication, a local newspaper, a local magazine, they are finding great, that is a great resource to actually get their story heard by the local community. And it's a matter of developing that relationship with that local publication. For the social media, it comes back to, and as I said, there's the different parts of social media that you need to look at. And when we look at social media, you've got Facebook, Instagram. I'll use the basic general ones. Facebook, very commonly used. Instagram, not generally a big thing for Rotary, except for just getting good news stories out there. LinkedIn, highly underutilized by Rotary, given that type of members that we're often looking for in many clubs is professional members. They're on LinkedIn. We need to get that story there and need to actually put it out there more. Very highly underutilized by our clubs. Of course, as I said, with LinkedIn, there's both your own LinkedIn profile, but there's also your club or district have a profile there as well. In 9620, my current district used to have a LinkedIn page. However, it's fallen in the last couple of years because no one's actually taken it up. And that'll be something to try to get back there. Twitter, generally not used a lot in Australia. In places like America, it has a huge following. But if you're looking for something that you can pick up to actually reproduce somewhere else in social media, then being on the Rotary International Twitter feed will actually give you a lot of short grabs that you can actually use in one of your other social media feeds. TikTok, it's probably not really our audience, but it's something we're going to have to keep an eye on because the demographic of that audience is one where we're trying to achieve members from, although many of that demographic are also moving away from it as well. YouTube, probably the biggest underutilized part of social media that Rotary just doesn't handle very well at all. Recognize the fact that there are articles going up every 1 to 3 seconds in YouTube. There's a huge number of articles going up, but its impact, if we can utilize it correctly, is probably the greatest of all of the social media feeds. And we come back to the Facebook, and you've got to remember that your club has a Facebook page. Does it have a Facebook group? Now, the difference is a Facebook group is an internal document, a Facebook page is an external document. And then it's your own, and then it's your tagging and actually bringing other people in and then actually sharing it into your community feeds. They're the things that you need to look at. Facebook recognizes that video is going to be bigger and bigger. But of course, the biggest part about using Facebook or Instagram is making sure you get your tags in there and your hashtag, your hashtags in there to actually make sure that when people search, things come up. And from a business point of view, if there's, I know a photographer that regardless of what he's photographing, whether it's a dog, whether it's landscape, or whether it's a house, one of the hashtags he always uses is love, because love is the most searched hashtag in the world, and therefore he comes into their feeds all the time. So just from a social media, they're the things to look at. But yes, we can take on board to actually produce that, get an expert in to tell you more about social media. Hopefully that helps, Pete. Yep. Darcy.
I just wanted to add something. I, within reason, agree what you said, but I just wanted to put out there that every single person is a potential Rotarian. So our target audience is every single person everywhere. That's about all I want to say. I just want to add to your little point there, just so we can make sure we get the message to everyone, whether it's TikTok or Instagram, or that anyone's a potential Rotarian. That's what I wanted to add. Thanks, so Daryl.
Yep. Barry?
Yeah, probably we're talking about a lot of these social media platforms that you can make your distribution over them all by using a platform sharing like Hootsuite or something like that. So you can do just the one message, but it'll go out across all these platforms, so you don't have to keep repeating yourself. So just a bit of a heads up.
Yeah, Hootsuite's great if you've got the general message, but if you're looking to actually target what you're doing, then your Instagram message should be different to your Facebook message. should be different to your LinkedIn message, etc. And whilst Hootsuite gives you that right to actually put it across everything, it's not necessarily the way to actually achieve the greatest advantage. But totally agree, Barry. It does make, if you've got a general message you're just trying to put out there, it does make it a lot easier to use something like that to just program a lot. Darcy, did you have your hand up again, or was it no? Yes. So I can the slide has the different breakdowns of the different social media. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good. Thank you.
Great. Well, any other questions, feedback, anything that you'd like to say? If you've got any ideas of other sessions that we can run, please do reach out and let us know, because this is really all about providing this information for you all and making sure that this is the right information, the information you really want to learn on, rather than things that you already know about. So please do let us know. Our contact details are on the Rotary Zone 8 website. I think he has updated most of the Assistant Rotary Public Image Coordinators details. And if you have difficulty, you've got my email address. Just reply to me and I'll put you in touch with the Assistant Rotary Public Image Coordinator and even the District Public Image Chair who might be able to help you out. So I guess this is pretty much it from us. Oh, sorry, Carol.
I just want to say, when you send the information out, is it possible to include a list of those various platforms and what they're best for? Because I've found some of them just in searching. But for example, I'd never heard of Hootsuite. And I'm imagining that between you and Daryl, you know a lot more than some of us do who think we're in touch with it, but there are new things happening all the time.
Actually, I haven't heard that, so.
Oh God, it's not just me.
I can do up an attachment to be added to this in relation to what each of those platforms are best in relation to.
That would be great, Daryl. Thank you.
And there's a number of apps similar to, or programs similar to Hootsuite, but Hootsuite's the most common one that allows you to pick up the one article that you do for social media and share it across a whole range of platforms.
Very interesting.
Okay.
And it also allows you to time when you want so if you want your Facebook one to go at 2 o'clock on a Friday morning and you want your Instagram at 7 o'clock on a Friday evening, you can do that all through Hootsuite as well.
Fantastic. Aniki.
Just something to share with you, something that I used to do when I was principal of the school, which was if I was writing an article or sending a letter to someone, I would often actually use a test audience. So it might be someone in my family or someone of the demographic who I'm after, to a friend or whatever, and say, look, just have a read of this and tell me what strikes you and how it sounds and is it appealing, and you gather up a little group of people that you can actually try that with, because that often gives you feedback that you weren't expecting. You weren't, you're not sure how it's going to be received unless you get that feedback.
Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Aniki. Any others? Last minute thoughts? Okay, I've actually shared the sessions for next month. I put in a flyer in a PDF, and if you click on the link, you can register, but I'd also included the link earlier on in the chat as well. But not to worry, I will certainly send that again to you when I send out the recording. So the recording might be just a couple of days late, depending on when Daryl and I tidy up and sort out those additional notes that he's going to put together for us. Right, so you can see the information on both the Rotary Zone 8 website, our upcoming sessions, Rotary Zone 8 website, which is rotaryzone8.org, and Rotary Oceania, which is rotaryoceania.zone website, our Facebook pages, including so Rotary Oceania, Rotary Australia, and what was the other one? And also my own Facebook page, which is Sarita McLean Rotarian, and also in the regional newsletter Rotary on the Move. So we're trying to push all of these out in all of the various ways, media that we have available to us. So hopefully, if you are interested, if you can share this out widely to your clubs in your districts, that will be really, really appreciated. So finally, thank you so much for your attention and passion and for the discussions and for giving up an hour of your valuable time to join Daryl and I on this fantastic session here today. Enjoy your day, and I really, really look forward to catching up with you again. Hopefully it's before the end of next month. So please do reach out to me if you've got any questions, queries, feedback, whatever. We'll be gladly look forward to receiving all of those. So do take care, and on the count of 3, I will stop this recording, and you're welcome to stay behind if you wanted to chat some more. So 3, 2, 1, stop.
Thank you, Sarita, for your time today.